All right, folks, welcome back to another episode of Dear Rudy. Dear Rudy. Yes? No, this is a serious video. It's kind of a little... Long-time fan of the channel. Now I know you're lying. No one's a long-time fan of this channel. Don't live in a big city. Big fan of CCGs. Collectibles. Obviously, you know where the story's going. I purchased a lot of collectibles over 2021, 2022. Financially, things are tough. Do I liquidate everything at heavy losses? Do I stay the course? Or my income is limited? I have debt. Like, I guess when I read stories like this, the first thing that comes to my mind is how big of an issue? How many people? Like, how big of the pie of population right now in 2023 is dealing with these strains and pressures and pulling from inflation, stagnant wages, and insane cost of living? And how much is that impacting like the collectible world? Not because people don't like it, or because I guess what was interesting is we had those Amazon dumps a week ago, and a lot of people were sending messages saying, Rudy, dude, if I had the money, I would buy them all. And I said, no, I understand. And it's not that people were shocked. So you had, it felt like there was two types of people. You had people in boat A, Titanic A, that was sinking, saying, I already bought into these things, and like Rudy, I'm upside down with heavy bags. And then boat B, which is also Titanic and sinking, people saying, this is my opportunity to buy into these things, even though the limits were only a couple boxes. Still, I can have something, but I don't have the free cash flow to buy into things because things are so ridiculously expensive and things are so tough. So that seems to be the two most common responses that I noticed on those videos from last week. I really don't want to give too much details on this one because I feel like people will be able to identify who the person is. Okay. I want to get a couple things straight when we talk about these Dear Rudy and these financial things and what's Rudy's opinion of what people should be doing right now. First, we're going to get the boring adult stuff out of the way, okay? You need to have a stable household. I don't care if you're renting a one-bedroom apartment on top of a skyscraper in Rudy's basement, or you own a giant mansion, or you bought your first house, or you're living with your friends and your parents, or whatever it is. No matter where you are on that spectrum is irrelevant. What matters is it needs to be stable, okay? If you have the ability to live with friends, significant other, parents, family members, and you can reduce your overhead every month by living with your parents. There is no shame in this world of saying, I live with my mom, all right? Because the problem is, in America, our culture, society, we have created and spun... Oh, God, this is going to turn into a rant video. I'm sorry, it's supposed to be a serious Dear Rudy. This is going to turn into a rant video. I know in our country, in the United States, it's almost a meme, and like people make fun of a guy who lives with his parents. Oh, what a loser! He lives with his mom. It's almost where in most countries, in most family units in other countries, it is not only socially acceptable to stay in a family unit or with kind of huddled together to pool resources and get ahead and reduce costs. You can also save money quicker and you can generate wealth quicker. That is the smart thing to do. In other cultures, that's what they do. And not only is it smart, it's safer, it helps you get ahead quicker, and you have other people around to bounce ideas off of and to support each other. It's a fucking positive thing. But in America, oh geez. Oh, what are you? You're a plumber? You're an electrician? Oh, what a loser. You need to be an Instagram model. You need to be a hot dude or chick. You know, we have this bizarre culture in America where it's very like immediately people make these quick assumptions about looking down or looking up on people based on what they do. Like, I know many of you all out there have run into me in public, in restaurants, at Chick-fil-A's, at, drive-thrus, and at stores with family. Many of you all have taken pictures, I've seen you all, and I say hello, but most people say, of course, Rudy, you're taller in person. Everybody thinks I'm a midget. I don't know why. But yes, I am tall. But people are surprised how flip-flops and normal I am. I'm not like in some fancy golden suit with black lotuses lined all. I mean, that's, But we live in this society. We live in a society where it's frowned upon to make certain decisions that are the correct ones. It's fucking weird, man. Like, it's weird. If you have the ability and you have a good relationship with your brother or sister, or your stepbro or your stepsister and she does laundry, or your mom and dad, or if you have good relationships and things are stable, pool resources. Stay with your family. So you can save more money. Don't be the hero moving out to get the 1-bedroom apartment to make some landlord rich. Like, it's crazy, but it's like, oh, I live on my own. I support myself. Okay, great. So are you bragging that to pick up chicks and you're cool? Or are you bragging to tell everyone that you're independent so you can run the hamster wheel till you die and never get ahead? Like, I don't understand what the angle is here. But we have this bizarre culture in America where if you tell someone you live at home with your parents, it's almost like ridiculed. It's weird. So, now that I've gotten that rant out of the way, once you have a stable household foundation, then you need to focus on your income and your outflow. How much money you generate and how much money you're spending. Okay? That's the next category you need to do in life. Essentially, and I don't want to get into the college conversation, everything is student loans. That's such a toxic minefield conversation. But essentially, you need to focus on making money and focus on not losing that money. Okay? Now, does it mean don't buy any magic cards and don't do anything you enjoy and never leave the house and be in a basement? No, because you have to keep your sanity, and it is okay to spend a certain amount to enjoy life along the way. Don't be extreme and crazy like Rudy. Don't do that. Essentially, you need to focus on the money you can make. There's only 2 variables you can control in this world, folks. And that is the money you can generate by how much you're willing to work, and what you're willing to do with the money after you generate it, and how much you're willing to spend, and where you are willing to spend it. Those are the only 2 things you can control when it comes to money. That's it. It comes to you, and it leaves you. Giggity? Is that a giggity? That's it. So, essentially, if you have a regular job, a part-time, well, Rudy, I'm in school. Well, okay, so you're telling me, even in school, you don't have the ability to work a couple nights a week in a restaurant, doing some normal job, because you're that focused. Every night you get home, and you study all day, all night, 7 days a week. You're not playing 8 hours of video games. You're not watching Netflix. You want to pitch that to me. 99% of people lie, and they kind of self-denial on the use and allocation of blocks of time. Like every hour of their day, what they actually do with it. Most people exaggerate and say, I'm slammed, I can't do anything. And in reality, you would be blown away if you actually look at a normal day, and if you look at every 1 hour time block that you're awake, you'll realize, holy crap, I wasted half of that hour. I wasted 15 minutes swiping on hot chicks on my phone. I was sitting there, then I got sidetracked on the internet for 30 minutes. And then I ended up watching an episode of, wait a minute, I really did waste hours. You don't realize it. Because again, technology, social media, all of this stuff has been engineered to keep our brains busy in almost an autopilot, subtle state of mind where we just we don't think too much, but we're not bored. We just kind of cruise along. So back to the letter of this situation. This individual, if you're upside down on things, you went through a lot of problems, and you're trying to decide what to do in the collectible world. This individual loves collectibles, CCG. He loves the card games, Pokemon's, Magic, I don't know, maybe Weiss or MetaZoos or Flesh and Blood, new Disney Lorcana, Sorcery, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever he's into, is irrelevant in this video. I don't care what card game you're into. But the situation is, you have to remember, he bought when everybody else did in 2021, 2022, as it was spiking and as it was coming down. Therefore, the odds of this individual selling anything right now, only holding for 12 months, and even breaking even, is very low. It's like me. There's many things I have. If I sell them right now, I won't even break even. Even if I sell directly to patrons without paying TCG player fees, there are tons of items. If I sold them at, even matched TCG player price, without even a discount, I'd still lose money. Tons of collector boxes, tons of set boxes, but that is the current market. It doesn't mean the current market is going to stay this way in the next 3 to 5 years. Historically, the market cycles change every couple years. But right now, in situations like this, if this individual has a passion for CCGs and he's holding a bunch of inventory and he's upside down, you could be an individual, even if he's a store, you have to sit on it. The only other option is you have to step back and say, okay, if I dumped everything at a 50% loss, if I get that money, even if it's only half the amount I had, can I take that money over the next couple of years and double it back to break even? Or do I just need the money to live and survive? Or am I better off working hard, doing what Rudy just set it and forget it, write off as a loss, throw it in the bathroom, and move on with your life and just leave it alone? Close the door, go back to work, push forward. That's what I chose to do in 2018 with Pokemon, or 2017, whatever the Pokemon XY era garbage was. You know, you have to determine what path you can stomach. Either path you take is going to be is going to have duress, it's going to have stress, it's going to have anxiety. There is no path that you can solve that. Psychologically, ladies and gentlemen, you have to remember, when we deal with these things, we battle ourselves. You can't tell me some of you all aren't sitting there at night, sitting on your couch, sitting in your car, sitting on your 15-minute lunch break. You're watching this video, and you're sitting there going, well, I bought into this. I'm upside down on it. Should I buy more? Price has gone down. Should I do not? It runs through your head. You play these scenarios in your head. And then, most likely, a lot of you are going to do what normal humans do. Normal meat popsicles and normal idiots and Timmies like me. And then you're going to say, well, I'm not sure if I should do that. Let me Google it. Or let me go on Discord, Reddit, Facebook, MySpace. Let's see what other people are saying. And that's when you start the slippery slope of negativity. You'll start falling into these negative news cycles. And then you start to really say, oh, crap, maybe I shouldn't do it. I mean, everybody says it's going to get worse. So then what happens is you let other people make the decision for you. And as we've talked about on this channel for 8 years, 90% of traders on Wall Street trade stock, never make money. You really think the percentage is any different in the collectible world? You really think most people who buy and sell comic books, coins, currencies, boxes, single cards, comic books, do you really think most of these people make money? No, they don't. Most do not. So remember that when you're going online and you're looking for other advice, most of these people do not possess the credentials, the actual experience or history to prove that you should take advice from people like that. That's how, I mean, when I make decisions in my own life, ladies and gentlemen, I don't say, hey, let me sit down with my Uncle Timmy. And I say, I need financial advice from my Uncle Timmy. And Uncle Timmy looks at me and says, yeah, Rudy, you should do this, this, and this. And I go, are you like financially independent or successful? Are you able to, how is your situation? Do you have a track record of being successful? Are you wealthy? Have you proven yourself in this category that we are speaking about? Well, no, I'm bankrupt. I'm not sure I should take financial advice from someone who's bankrupt. And you have to remember that. Again, I can't make you all rich. I don't have a get-rich-quick CD or a program or a special thing where you can pay me $1,000 a month and I'll show you the way to hustle. And I don't have that, man. All I can do is talk about what's going on in the market, respond to you all's comments and questions, and report when things are good, report when things are bad, do some box openings, mention MetaZoo so I get threats, and do more flesh and blood. And I guess I don't get many threats in flesh and blood anymore. I guess we're over that hump. Sorcery? Are we getting threats on that? No. Everybody believes sorcery. It's weird. So, I mean, that's what it is. That's the difference between people who are willing to have conversations with you and people out there who are trying to sell you on how to get out of debt or get rich. In this channel, we try to just discuss it all. So when I see a conversation like this is an individual who already parked, let's just say $10,000 even, let's put it an even number, into collectibles. He's upside down. We've talked about videos like this in the past, but the difference is we're in 2023 now. Interest rates are high. The world's in a weird place. Post-Magic 30, Magic in Wizards of the Coast is very volatile. Okay? Now, essentially, like I said, if you have the ability to work hard, your environment that you're living in is stable, and you have a good head on your shoulders, and you're willing to work hard and push forward, and you believe in yourself, and you need to, because 99.9% of you all watching should believe in yourself. I don't want to get all cheesy cliche on you, but almost all of us have the ability to push forward and figure it out. Now, we may not like the path. We may be miserable along the way. It may feel shitty. We may be pissed off at everyone, especially that internet taco guy, a scumbag. You know, it may feel crappy. But at the end of the day, Almost all of us, pending some extreme circumstances of some of you all and some terrible tragedies and some life things, for the most part, most people have the ability, even with limitations, even with disabilities, bad households, and a bad hand you were dealt in life. There are creative ways. I don't know the answer, but there are creative ways. You've got to figure it out. Because I am a firm believer that it is possible. And I'm not trying to be motivationally cheesy. Then at the end of this, I'm going to flash some, order my CD thing, which I should. That'd be fucking hilarious. $69.99. Blink, blink. Order now, and I'll double your order. Pay shaking. What do they do on TV? But I think it's really a mindset right now. It's a state of mind of navigating it. And like I've talked about in the other videos, the last time everybody was this negative and magic was actually, 20. Godly, it was pre-2020. People were not much different than they were today. Now they're negative and angry. It's on a different topic, but it's still the same negativity. And that's what's fascinating. So when we go back to this Dear Rudy situation, anyone out there in the situation needs to determine, if you need the money to survive and live, then you have to liquidate and take the losses. Now, of course, people liquidating and taking losses and locking in the losses is going to bring more supply of sealed product and vintage single cards to the market, which is going to put more downward pressure as more supply enters the market and people give up. As of the filming of this video, again, it's been the amount of people in the collection buying and selling has been off the chart. And I'm sure some of it can be related to Moon City Games not buying collection, paying cash, some of these stores with buy lists that are low, but it's been very surreal, the amount of people dumping Magic collections and contacting me. It's been a struggle for me to keep up. It's been absolutely unbelievable. But it tells me the tone and how most of you all are feeling out there, especially towards Hasbro and Wizards. So if this individual needs the money, then yes, there are times, ladies and gentlemen, doing what's necessary, which could be selling and locking in at a 50% loss, could be the right thing for you if you absolutely need the money. Now, other times, the right thing to do is to just buckle up, Buttercup, and stop working part-time and work more and do some other things and take different paths and take more risks and work harder, invest, try different things, collect different things, put more hours, maybe get a second job, that's what I did. When I was younger, that's all I did. I worked, I remember I worked tons working restaurants at night. I lived working at restaurants, waiting tables, bartending, and busing. Holy smokes. I don't, probably on an unhealthy level, but whatever. I used the money to buy cards. But that's the thing is, if you can create that stable household you can come home to, especially if you can pool resources with friends and family, get past that hump and then work on, okay, am I in debt? Do I need to pay off the debt? Okay, how much can I pay to service the debt? How much can I pay each month? How can I pay more? How can I get rid of it? If I owe $10,000 in debt, okay, minimum payment, $300 a month, some stupid thing, and they're charging you $400 in interest. Okay, that's clearly not going to work. You need to pay more. If you owe $5,000, you need to pay $1,000 a month, and you need to shed it in a couple months. Now, how do you generate the extra money? Well, you either need to reduce spending, or you need to work more and increase the money that comes to you. Again, only two options in this world, unless you can sell feet pictures or bathwater pictures. That's the next path you have to take. And, it's such these videos, I don't make them much anymore, because they feel a little redundant and a little, cheesy sometimes, or cliche, and you always get the people say, well, easy for Rudy to say, he's a millionaire. Ugh. You kind of get some of those kind of very abrasive, kind of dick comments and people who, random messages, and anyone who's a millionaire should be killed and destroyed or should be ruined or donate. You get these very abrasive things in our culture nowadays, but, there's ways to navigate these situations. And I've noticed that, again, we're in a time where a lot of people are upside down on collectibles. It could be even Pokemon. A lot of people are in the new Pokemon sets and they're upside down. And they're completely shocked that a sealed Pokemon could just do nothing and go down. And I'm going, bro, most Pokemon sets come out, they do not skyrocket. In the last 10, 15 years, historically, Pokemon sets are released. They stay flat to negative for 1 to 3 years before they do anything. So, it's a weird thing. And it also tells me a lot of people just haven't been doing this long enough. They're not experienced enough. Because I feel like people who've been through multiple cycles of ups and downs would understand this concept. And maybe that's why I don't see, people always say, well, Rudy, has a level head, doesn't bother him as much because he has so much wealth and all these things. He's been doing it so long. Well, yeah, I mean, I will agree with that, because if you do anything in this world for 10, 20 years, you're probably going to be pretty good at handling the ups and downs. You're probably going to see multiple booms and busts, and you're mentally going to be able to handle more complicated and more severe swings. So there is truth to that. But at the same time, it takes losing and screwing up and going to hose town. It takes getting pounded in the face sometimes to really understand life. I know this is kind of weird. It takes sometimes, like this gentleman here sending this message, there are times when it takes, you know, I feel like you don't really know who you are unless you go through one major crash or you're presented with at least some sort of loss. Because everybody reacts and their brain gets rewired, and you learn and you push forward differently. And how you change is kind of setting the framework for moving forward. That kind of thing. And we're talking about mostly money, not like human loss or any severe disaster. We're just talking about financial loss here, folks, to keep the video on topic. But that's kind of where I stand on this whole conversation today, is that, you know, the summary of this video is, yes, just like this individual, a lot of people, if not most people, if you've only been in collectibles the last 2 years, chances are, or actually 3 years, you have made no money and you're upside down on most items you're holding. Period. You know, there's going to be a few outliers always. But overall, if you diversify and you hold a bunch of collectibles, cards, boxes, anything, most things are either flat or negative. Now, I remember this similar feeling back in 2014, 15, and then 16 when I started YouTube and I started making my videos and everybody laughed at me. I talked about Khans of Tarkir, Dragons of Tarkir, Battle for Zendikar, Oath of the Gatewatch when those came out at release. We were talking about original Modern Masters, Eternal Masters. We talked about all these things. And what most people fail to realize is even 10 years ago, when all those products came out, if you had bought into all of them in the first 1 to 2 years, you would be in the same situation. Like nothing's actually changed. The difference is people today are angry at something different, but they're still angry just like they were 10 years ago. So that's the conclusion. It's really the mindset. And if you need the money, there are times in life you do have to lock in losses, take your leftover capital, and you need to move forward to something different. There are times when that is needed. It should be a last resort, because I feel the better choice normally, not always, the better choice usually is to try to work more or take a different path and let the market kind of stabilize, let the clouds and the storm pass. That's usually the Rudy approach to it, but obviously with some people's situation, that's not always necessary. That's not always possible, actually. So that's all I have today, folks. Kind of a weird little video. Like I said, I was going to go into some details of this individual situation about his living situation and everything, but I didn't want to I felt like it kind of gave some specifics, and I didn't really want to mess with that. But overall, the bigger question is, over the next 3, 6, 12 months, if there's a lot of people in very tight situations and they're forced to liquidate, even at losses, that is going to continue to push the Magic the Gathering market and keep it suppressed for longer than we all realize. And it doesn't mean, you know, Commander Masters comes out and spikes, or Commander Masters comes out and does nothing, or stays steady, or tanks, or, you know, it doesn't mean we can't see, you know, Lord of the Rings, collector boxes to the moon, and, you know, it doesn't mean we can't see outliers. But the overall market, I believe, I still think there's no major catalyst for Magic to skyrocket anytime soon. And that's been a tone I've been talking about on this channel now for many, many months. Actually, probably since the beginning of the year, 6 months now. You know, I still don't see it turning. Okay, it's not tanking. I'm not reporting on these videos saying, oh, reserve list down 50%, 30%. I mean, we're pretty calm right now. It's not tanking more. It's not recovering, but we're trending sideways. We got a nice consolidation period, nice purgatory, we're holding our own. But I'm really looking forward to the day when I can really start seeing some solid upticks across the board, on sealed products, ABU, Arabian Four Horsemen sets, and of course, revised dual lands. So that's all I have today. Interesting time.